Hi, friends. This reflection's for the sixth Sunday of Easter. We're almost done. I know. Celebration's going to be over and we're going to be back to normal and all that, but that's okay. As we look at the sixth Sunday of Easter, I really see the theme of evangelization pop up. And the theme of hope. And that we are called to be a people of hope. Because we are the Easter people, as St. John Paul II reminds us. Jesus is our advocate. He's present in our hearts and minds. Even though he's not physically present, spiritually he's with us in spirit. If every time you hear that phrase, like, I'm with you in spirit, or like he or she's with us in spirit, that's the case with Jesus. Because he's our advocate. Even as St. Peter reminds us, he breaks down some ways to give a witness, give a reason. Because we must sanctify Christ as Lord in our hearts. All because of our hope. I think the first thing we must do is to be gentle and pious. Now, gentle meaning like we're not going to be like, thumping the Bible like many of the street preachers are doing. Or like, acting like we have all the answers. And it does take great humility to really take on rejection when you give someone an invitation, be like, hey, I think maybe it's time for you to come back to your roots, or maybe you should consider this because I think you feel like you have a lot of questions on your heart and you need the answers. Reverence would be like not rushing through prayer or anything. You're just taking the time to like set a few minutes aside and just pray. Just thinking about what went right, what went wrong, examination of conscience. And also, too, maybe digging a little deeper into, like, daily readings. Or even going a little deeper when you pray your rosary or novenas or devotions, whatever devotions you do daily. Because I feel like sometimes we tend to just say the prayers and we don't even give a thought about it. That's kind of like where Lectio Divina comes in. And it really helps us to grasp a better understanding of the readings. Or even the readings, or even just like a reflection written by a pope or a saint. To grasp at it. What does it mean? I think in this day and age, it can be a challenge because of what we're surrounded, whether it be trying to promote the transgender agenda, LGBTQI, whatever the other letters of the alphabet they use, the radicalization of abortion. Those things are scary. Those things could make us want to flee from the battlefield. But we must embrace that challenge. And we must embrace it with courage. And as St. Peter reminds us that we are called to suffer for doing good. And I think many of us have experienced that phenomenon, especially in what has unfolded the last several years with church teachings where people you went to grade school with or high school that were Catholic yet kind of fell away from the faith. I think that's probably one of the most disheartening things that it could happen to any of us. But if you also look at our culture today, people around you are in despair, but you can bring them hope. There are people that doubt the existence of God, but you plant the seeds of faith and hope and sow it with love. That is how we become those faithful witnesses that St. Peter calls us to be. Even Pope Francis reminds us, talks about a culture of encounter. And I feel like, too, with so many distractions out there, particularly on a device like this, like when we're on the bus or train or Uber rides, I think we kind of really lose focus. As if you look at the apostles, they went around and their message was welcome. And there are times that their messages were very unwelcome, especially from the Romans and the occupied forces that were against Christianity. And let's face it, the message will be welcomed by some, rejected by many. And we're all going to have to give an account on how we lived our lives. And I think if we want to change the world, we need to have some tangible engagements. It doesn't involve the gadgets. And when we do engage people, like, we must approach it like Jesus did when he had compassion for these people during the encounter. And we must give that reason of hope to others who wondered why. Why are you so on fire with the faith? You never know. You may inspire that person to come back to church. You may someone to come to Bible study with you. You may inspire someone to go to confession after so many years. I remember my girlfriend telling me a story about a priest that celebrated Mass on the top of a mountain after a hike. And there was a woman that was passing by and was moved, and she kind of stopped and watched the whole thing unfold. And when Mass was over, she pulled aside one of the priests and said, "Hey, man, I go to confession. It's been X amount of years." And the priest, without hesitation, said yes. It takes a faithful witness, my friends, to inspire others to go back, and also to understand that there is good in the world and it must be fought for. Friends, let us be the people of hope. Let us be the light that is needed in this world filled with darkness. Let us take the time to be gentle towards others, especially God's beloved children who have fallen away. And when we do put our faith in the public square, let us do it with reverence. Happy Easter to all. God bless.